So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jessica Morales. I'm the new area assistant superintendent here, and what a wonderful way to spend an afternoon. So we're very excited to hear your speeches. So before we begin, I would like to thank all of our organizers, our judges, and our sponsor, the Chula, Vista Noon Rotary, who have made this event possible. We are grateful for your support and dedication to helping our students find their voice. I also want to thank our students who are competing today. It takes incredible bravery and courage to get up here and speak in front of everyone, and I know you're going to do a fantastic job, so I'm so excited to hear your thoughts for us today. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to hand over the mic to Rochelle Carroll, who will give some introductions, who will introduce our fantastic speakers. And good luck, everyone.
Hi, good afternoon to all of you. It's so good to see all of your smiling faces. As Ms. Morales said, I'm Rochelle Carroll, and I'm the Executive Director here in Curriculum and Instruction. And this is one of the highlights of our year in Curriculum and Instruction, is getting to see such amazing students come and join us for our speech contest. So thank you for being here. As the MC today, I get to introduce all of you as you come in one at a time to give your speeches. And I'm going to go over some rules in just a minute. But before we start, I want to introduce some very important people who are also here. Because although you have the really fun job of getting to do your speeches, the very hard job comes from our judges who are going to be here today to really work hard at trying to pick our 3 finalists from today. So I first would like to thank Wendy Messina from the South Bay YMCA. Thank you, Wendy. And we thanked the Noon Club Rotary for their donation so that our winners will have monetary prizes on Monday. But I also want to thank, because I also am a Chula Vista Sunrise Rotarian, I want to thank 2 of our Sunrise Rotarians who are here judging, both Sophia Anguiano and Rhett Creel. Please give them. And all of the Rotary clubs in Chula Vista really are excited about supporting this speech contest. All right, so we're going to take just a few minutes to go over some details. I'm going to do it with you. The first thing is we're going to make sure that our phones are either on silent or off, because some of us have some really fancy little ringtones, and as soon as one of those go off, when a phone rings, it can really interrupt our speeches, and we want to make sure that doesn't happen. So if you can make sure that that's off, and we're going to ask that you not take any photos or videos during the speeches. We are going to be doing recording here for you, and the recordings will be posted on our website, and you'll be able to get all of that information so that you can grab the video of today, all right? And if you didn't get a chance to have your picture taken outside, you're welcome to do that after the speech contest as well, so that you can put those in your scrapbook. The ones that were taken today by our photographer will also be posted for you to have access to. A couple other important things: no one is allowed to go in or out of the room while students are giving their speeches. So when a student is up speaking, we're going to stay tight, right? And if you need to get out after a student finishes, we'll let you out when we open up the door to let in the next speaker. After each speaker comes to speak, then they will have a chance to come and sit up here. We're going to be taking all of the students out in just a few minutes to go over and have a more fun time getting to sit together and have to do some activities in another room. They'll be coming in as you speak. Another important thing I wanted to remind you of is if you could stay out of the center aisle, that would be really great, because we do have some microphones on the floor. We want to make sure that we don't accidentally step on those. So you can try to stay out of the middle aisle. That would be fantastic. Okay. If you didn't already see, there are bathrooms right outside the room, so you're welcome to, when you have a break, to go out there. They're right out here, and there are some down the hall as well. There are some people outside that can help get you there if you need some assistance. Let's see. Another important piece of information is remembering about the length of time of our speeches. So our speeches are anywhere between 3 and 5 minutes. And our timer, thank you, Mrs. Estrada, who is here timing for us today. Let's give her recording the time of the speech. If a speech goes under 3 minutes or over 5 minutes, then we'll be taking 5 penalty points from the total score of that speech. Okay, so keeping in that time is really important. We are going to make sure that in case of a tie, the first tiebreaker will be for content, right? The total points for content, then for poise and delivery. So it is broken down into those categories. Let's see, what else am I forgetting? You said that you're going to be coming up here. That's fantastic. I told you that all the speeches are going to be recorded, so you don't have to worry about doing that. So, last but not least, I want to tell you about this book. How many of you have read The World Needs More Purple Schools? Anybody read this book? Oh, see, fantastic. Excellent. All right. If you haven't read it, everybody will get a chance to read it because a copy of this book is going to be in every library, and all of our speech contest finalists are going to have their name in a placard in the book. So forever in your school library, you are going to be memorialized anytime anybody checks out this book. So I hope all of you will get a chance to read it. And it fits in beautifully with our theme, what does this world need? So without further ado, I'm going to ask our student speakers to please stand. All right, and let's give them one more big round of applause. To their waiting area. So thank you very much, student speakers. All right, all of you friends and family and teachers and supporters, big deep breath. They're going to be fantastic. I promise you that you are going to have a great afternoon here today. So what I'm going to ask now is that we get into our quiet spaces, get nice and comfortable, and we're going to bring them in one at a time. I will bring them up to the front, and they're going to be standing right here in the middle. I'll introduce them as their speaker number, and then they're going to go ahead and get started. When they're finished, they're going to be sitting up here, so they'll stay in the room after they finish speaking. And then I'm going to wait just a few minutes, so there's kind of this awkward silence, and you're kind of looking at me waiting, like, what are you waiting for? We're actually waiting for our judges, so they'll have an opportunity to score properly before we move on to the next speaker, okay? So when you're looking at me and you think, why are you just standing there? Bring in the next person. That's the reason why, okay? We want to make sure that our students get the opportunity to be scored and be ready to go. All right, so is everybody ready? Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I didn't understand. Did you say that the winner would be announced today?
Absolutely. So we will have 3 finalists from 6th grade and 3 finalists from middle school who will move forward to the finals on Monday. So today, that's what we'll find out. Who are the 3 finalists for 6th grade and the 3 finalists for middle school who will move forward to the finals on Monday morning. So on Monday morning, we will hear from 6th, 4th graders, 6th, 5th graders, 6th graders, and 3. It's late afternoon. There's going to be some middle schoolers. Long day. You're patient. They will be coming back together with us. So that will be for Monday morning. But yes, you will find out today. So we're going to hear all of our speakers. There are 17 speakers today. That includes 6th grade. And then we'll stop for just a moment to transition into our middle school group. They will be then doing their speeches. And then, so then the judges will have an opportunity to score them separately, although still on the same theme. And then the judges will go out and do their work. The students will go and have some snacks and treats. You'll pace around for a little bit, maybe have some coffee, and then we'll come back and I will announce who those finalists are at the end of the session.
How do we have the video?
The videos will be posted on our website, and we'll give you the information on that. We have our social media channel, we'll have pictures at cbsg.news, and then there will also be on the website, Chula Vista speech contest video session. So you'll get that information, just you can download the video of tonight. All right, any more questions? Yes.
The finals, how many?
So for the finals, for the end finals, there will be one winner, and then we will have second place, third place. Okay? All right, here we go. Everybody, deep breath. It's going to be a great afternoon.
All right, everyone. Speaker number 1.
Climate change. The worst thing that could happen to all of us is what we, all types of species, are suffering right now. This is not fun to live. What this world needs is to stop climate change. One of the main reasons why this world needs to stop climate change is because poor countries are going to be suffering the most, all because of the extreme weather changes. Rich people and rich countries refuse to accept that climate change is here. The states stickythepenguin.org. The rich are responsible for this, and still they won't care or do anything to change this. You know, you might just interrupt their golf games or whatever else they're doing to not hear your non-violent protest. But don't worry, if there's a problem, there's a solution. A solution to this problem is to start a fundraiser for those who need it. But you might say, one person can help those in need. You will need a lot of people for that. And surprisingly, I've already thought about this. Thanks to one of the most used platforms called TikTok, someone could sponsor this fundraiser in a video. The video becomes viral, people donate to this fundraiser, and there we will have the help of everyone. Do you not care about those poor people who are suffering just because of one rich person who won't do or even acknowledge what they've done? This is why if we stop climate change, the world would be a better place. There are more challenges we go through with this horrible climate change. For example, all the trash that we throw out every day, or when people think it's okay to leave trash wherever they choose to do. So, where do you think this trash goes to? If you said the seas, you're right. This trash ends up in the sea by people slithering. The wind pushes all the trash to the sea, and it hurts the animals in the sea. They could think it's food and eat it, or could get entangled in the trash that people go and wither around. According to potentash.com, the most ignored cause of climate change is weathering the oceans. Oil spills, garbage dump, plastic dump, and more are the main forms of ocean pollution. All this would not take place if humans took this problem with a little bit more seriousness. Nearly half of the pollution is caused by human activities made by us humans. This is another reason why stopping climate change would make our world a healthier place. The last but not least reason why climate change needs to be stopped is that everything is getting hotter than it should be. And we don't want to be all sweaty, right? All this hot water is coming by burning fossil fuels. How do you think we get electricity? By burning fossil fuels. What does fossil fuels do to our planet? It makes the water hotter than it should be and pollutes our earth. Also, this hot water is making animals lose their homes. Haven't you seen all the glaciers melting? It's all because of the fossil fuels. But that's why we have trees, because trees help with the polluted air and could make our planet more cooler, right? But forests are getting deforested, which means that we have less and less trees to make our planet healthier and let those poor animals keep their homes. This is why deforestation and burning of fossil fuels is bad for our planet. They contribute to climate change, and climate change makes our earth sick. This and even more information explains how climate change is bad and needs to be stopped right now. Also, with the help of everyone, we'll achieve this goal. But you may ask, how to? How can we achieve this goal? Well, there are some facts that you could use to help our world be a healthier place for everyone. Do not leave the lights on. They use a lot of energy, which means more fossil fuels getting burned. Always recycle your trash. They could give back to something new, and that way you won't pollute the seas. Change to eco-friendly sources of energy, like solar panels. And always help in every way you can. No, no kind act, no matter how small it is ever wasted.
Speaker number 2.
What does this world need? A question that has many answers, such as ending poverty, addressing climate change, and getting education and healthcare to places that need it, and many more. What thing we truly need now is world peace. Making world peace is no easy task, but there is a way. In order to do this, we need to come together to stop racism. And once we're able to accept other people, only then we can accept other cultures and religions, which means promoting cultural awareness. After that, we can perform diplomacy with other countries to build better relations at a political level. After that, we should also encourage other solutions to this problem too. We as people need to take a stand against racism. We need to vote for politicians who promote and promise racial equality, and to make sure we make stricter laws around racism and make sure they're enforced properly. Why I say they must be enforced properly is that even now we have laws that stop racism, but a lot of times they're not enforced properly, such as the George Floyd case, one you may have heard on the news. But there are many more cases of racial crime in which law enforcement didn't do their jobs correctly, which is why we still have racism in our world. Us as citizens must also challenge racist actions as soon as it happens and stomp it out. Without racial equality, it will be extremely hard to make world peace. On to my next step toward world peace: cultural awareness. We need to educate ourselves and others about different cultures and their traditions and practices. To do this, we need to encourage others to respect differences between cultures and avoid hurtful stereotypes. Everyone must be willing to branch out and accept trying new things to be able to even learn about other people. We need to make sure we can make our judgments based on knowledge and not stereotypes and bias. We ourselves should also take the time to travel to different communities and communicate with those of other cultures to gain a better understanding of each other and to build better relations. To achieve peace at a meaningful level, we need diplomacy. We need to build better relations at a political level to be able to even communicate with other people, hence diplomacy. We also need diplomacy if we want to travel to other countries without any problems. In order to perform diplomacy, both sides must also negotiate benefits to both sides while keeping the demands clear. Both sides must also keep in mind each other's cultural differences while negotiating. We don't want another war, do we now? Even with these steps, both nations' leaders must be willing to perform diplomacy for it to happen. Even if you can't help in any of the ways previous past, even in any of the previous ways I mentioned, you can still help. Take a second to think about what you can do. And if you couldn't think of something, let me suggest something you could do. You could either volunteer or donate to a foundation committed to worldwide peace. Even if you don't have the money or time, or maybe just a kid like me, you can still help to make a difference too. What I mean by this, you could do what I'm trying to portray here, spreading the news and knowledge to other people, such as your family or your friends, or people you don't even know, like what I'm trying to do here. All of you can help make a difference in our world, no matter it be a big act or a small act. Every single one of you has the power to make change in our world. To finish off my time speaking here to everyone here today, we need world peace to have a better world. Without world peace, we cannot advance to solve other big problems, such as world hunger and climate change. World peace is no overnight task. Everyone must play a part in making it happen in order to make world peace work, even those sitting in this room. And remember, only if you can accept each other, we can learn about each other, and coexist peacefully. Thank you.
That awkward time I was doing.
We'll fill that moment. Don't worry yourself.
Okay, speaker number 3.
Have you ever wondered, why am I here or what's my purpose? Hello, my name is Davis Wong and I'm here to tell you that the world needs to find purpose. First, what is purpose? Well, according to the Oxford Dictionary, the definition is the reason for which something is done or created or for which something exists. But now a new question arises. Why purpose? Purpose gives you a sense of importance that drives you to be the best you can be. So how can purpose help you, or no, how can purpose help the world? By helping you. Mark Twain once said, the 2 most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. One of everyone's most important days is obviously the day that you're born. But let's talk about the other most important day, the day you find out why. It means the day you find your purpose is the other most important day. The day you learn what you will do for the world. Purpose helps you by pushing you to be what you need to be. I know that my purpose is to learn computer science. So I need to take the steps to become a computer scientist. When somebody finds their purpose in life, that person will feel a little bit better about anything they do. Society is a little bit better because when somebody finds their purpose, they start to do better and do more for the world. Your purpose may not be your job. It could be something that you do in your free time, like working at a homeless shelter or donating. But now, here's a question. Why purpose? What about world peace or solving world hunger? What you on this? Who's going to solve world hunger or bring world peace? Someone who has purpose. Why would someone try to save the world without a reason to, right? Any problem solved in the world was solved by someone who had a reason to. Take, for example, Confucius. He saw what was wrong with matriarchy and tried to fix it. His purpose was to solve it. There are so many important problems in the world that, without purpose, no one will solve. Many others would say that things like love, kindness, and peace are more important to the world. Well, think about it. Kindness is cool. Kindness is great, and it's the right thing to do. But you need a reason. You need a reason to be kind. Purpose. To love someone without a purpose is hard because, well, you don't actually have a reason to. And love and kindness stem from purpose, and peace. War usually comes easy to humans, and peace was hard. And somebody made peace. Someone with purpose did. All actions have a purpose. But now you may ask, how do I find my purpose? Well, the simplest way is to look at the things that are unique to you. What things do you do and take interest in? Like say, hey, I like to cook, I could be a chef. But also ask yourself, would I be happy in a world where I was a chef? If you are, take the steps needed to become a chef. Or if you like caring for others, say you can say, hey, I could work at a nursing home or a hospital. Remember that finding purpose won't happen the first time, but you need purpose to do what you're here for. Find what you're here to do, then do it, because we all need purpose. We all have a reason to be here. A reason to make the world not just a better place, but to make it the best world it can be. Because the world needs as much as it can get, but right now, to do the things that it needs to do, we must find purpose. It's said by Michael Jordan, some want it to happen, some wish it would happen, and some make it happen. Those who have purpose, make it happen. Thank you for listening. My name is Davis Wong, and I hope you find your purpose in life.
Speaker number 4.
For a very long time, we had to come face to face with many difficulties and issues that arise in our society. In 2022, a report found that more than 130 million Americans live in counties with alarming rates of particle pollution. According to the state of Washington's Department of Ecology, about 18 million pounds of waste ends up in communities and roads annually, and that number has only gotten higher. Not to mention the prevalent cases of discrimination and problems that are still present worldwide. Today, national origin and race discrimination is still very common. Additionally, 1 out of every 5 students report being bullied at school. And believe it or not, these are just a small portion of the problems that our world has. So what can we do to undo the damage we have done? Hello, my name is Karen Garaduque, and this is what the world needs. It all comes down to having the capacity to care. If no one cares, no one will be able to stop pollution, discrimination, bullying, and all the other problems we have in our world. Things like kindness and empathy also matter, but it's nothing when no one cares enough to do anything. We need people who are willing to make a change in the world. What we need are more kind-hearted, open-minded, and selfless people. We need these kinds of people in our world because if we want to make positive changes on Earth, we can't just sit back and watch. Think about what will happen if it's too late to do anything, and the world is full of trash, polluted air, millions and millions of people dying from starvation, dehydration, sickness, and how much resources and valuable people like doctors, vets, and scientists that we would lose. If that really happens, the world would be damaged beyond repair. The world would fall into chaos, and people would fight over whatever resources they can find and go against each other. Something that is also very important that the world needs more of is acceptance. Why? We need to learn how to accept people for who they are. Learning to accept people for who they are is crucial because most acts of violence stem from hatred. Human beings are just so determined to hate each other, whether it's because of their race, gender, how they look, dress, or act. This adds to the many complications we have created in the world. We also need to learn how to accept people's opinions and differences because if they are appreciated and respected, their confidence and self-esteem will become stronger. What the world needs is for people to come together. We need to stop going against each other and learn how to understand that we are all people and unite together to make the world a better place for all of us. If we work on not just these problems, but all the problems that we can possibly work on, the world will definitely improve. It will become a safer place for all of us without the pollution, hatred, and discrimination toward others. This is what the world needs. Thank you for listening.
Speaker number 5.
When you think of a global crisis, what comes to mind? While this world needs peace and definitely a better environment, no one can do anything about it without proper mental health. Depression is a serious problem in the world that isn't seen as important as stopping wars or stopping deforestation. However, statistics sadly show that people over the age of 12 are diagnosed with depression, and this is the second leading cause for suicide and suicidal attempts. According to the text, depression statistics everyone should know. This just goes to show that it can be anyone struggling with depression. According to the text by the organization called Sanamente, every year, 34 million people experience symptoms of depression that affect their quality of life and mental health. While depression is very treatable thanks to therapists and social workers, it's not always affordable. Actually, 35% of adults diagnosed with depression don't get treated, making them more depressive episodes. This mental illness is increasingly common, making it very concerning. It causes loss of sleep, an alarming decrease or increase in weight, trouble focusing, decreased energy, along with many other symptoms. Depression is not only bad for you and your self esteem, but it's also bad for your health. Most people do exercise regularly as part of their routine, but when you get depression, you lose interest in everyday activities, such as sports. Sleeping all day or all weekend every once in a while is not bad for you. However, if you were to stop doing sports for a long period of time and never stop sleeping in, you would gain lots of weight. The more weight you gain, the more health problems come with it. And this includes increasing your risk of a heart attack. In many scenarios, this can be fatal. To think that 1 million people die of suicide every year, and more than half of those deaths are because of depression, not only terrifies me, but also enrages me. To think that so many of those people could have cured their depression with just a couple of months worth of therapy, but couldn't cure it because the prices were too high is maddening. You would think that maybe a month could be up to $100. Unfortunately, the prices for decent therapy can go up to $200 per hour, depending on which therapist you go to. If you were to have one session every week for 1 month, that's roughly $800 per month. If you were to do that for 1 year, that's $9,600. Not everybody has that kind of money, especially seeing as there are 685 million families living in poverty globally. Although therapists also need money to live, therapy should be accessible to everyone and not a ridiculous amount of money. What this world needs is to have a heart and the reminder that a huge amount of people are dying because they can't get the attention they need. If that many people are dying and being diagnosed with depression, who's going to deal with all the other problems in the world? Who's going to deal with stopping wars or stopping deforestation? Your health and your mental health should always be your top priority, no matter what. After all, mental health matters.
Speaker number 6.
Good morning, teachers and staff. My name is Samantha Naram. There are so many things that this world needs to make it a better place. One thing this world needs is less animal abuse. It is the most common abuse that happens in the world. Think of it as your own animal. You would be mad if someone kicked your dog for no reason. I would. All over the world, animals from humble crickets to majesty horses are forced to fight for humans' entertainment. Animals, even though who may not be naturally aggressive, are put in enclosures with no chance of escaping and given little choice but to fight or die. For example, some people use animals for entertainment, while other people so they can watch animal fighting. If you want to help or see any people that watch the animal fighting, you could never attend to an event which animals are forced to fight. If you suspect an illegal activity which is occurring in your neighborhood, report it to authorities. Encourage government officials to enforce cruelty to animal laws and existing ban on fighting. Neglect is another type of abuse. It is wrong to inflict suffering on any living creature. What will happen to these animals? What does neglect do to these animals, you may ask? Well, they could eventually end up having severe weight loss, muscle loss, and failure of organs if left alone too long. This means that a dog suffering from neglect could die right beside their home. Their death could be caused by the human, caused by something that the human could have easily prevented. Lastly, animal testing. Why is it bad? Because humans are harming these animals, which causes suffering to these animals. The benefits to humans beings are not proven. Any benefits to human beings that animal testing could provide could be produced in other ways. Animal experiments do not mimic the human body and human diseases that respond to drugs and chemicals and treatment. Animals are very different from humans and therefore react differently. In conclusion, the reason why I'm telling you about animal abuse is that I believe animals do not to be treated like toys. They should be treated like humans and respected and not to be forced to be aggressive and fight. Not to be treated on us products that us humans use. Not to be dropped off the streets in the middle of nowhere. We need to respect animals and how they give us respect and enrich our lives. Remember, this world will be a better place with less animal abuse in it. Thank you.
No, hold on to it. You can hold on to it.
Speaker number 7.
$1 billion. That's the number of people living in extreme poverty. $1.25. That's how much money 1 billion people live on a day. 45%. That is the percentage of deaths of the children under the age of 5 that are caused by malnutrition. That's roughly 3.1 million children per year who don't live to celebrate their 5th birthday. Are you starting to see why I chose this topic? Are you starting to understand the intensity of this wealth issue? A lot of people go without eating every day, but not voluntarily. What does this world need? I believe that this world needs to end world hunger. First, let's take a step back and ask ourselves, why is world hunger even happening? Well, according to World Food Program, hunger isn't about supply. The world produces enough food to feed everyone. But the problem is access to food and availability in certain areas of the world. The problems of access to food and availability are because of things like weather, food waste, one's gender, and violent conflict. Poverty is one of the largest factors in the world. For example, Afghanistan has more than 90% of its population in poverty, which is more than 6 million people in their country. Because of this poverty, hunger continues to rise. Now, why should we work together to end world hunger? Well, hunger is the leading cause of deaths in young children. Also, when children don't get enough nutrients, it can delay cognitive development, stunt their growth, they're tired, they cannot focus, and can delay other illnesses. According to United Nations, teens and adults who are malnourished are less productive, more prone to disease, and unavailable to earn more money. I'm sorry.
You got it.
This is not just happening in other countries. This is happening now in the United States. According to Food Research and Action Center, 1 in 8 households with children could not buy enough food for their families due to poverty. If this continues to grow, then this will continue to be a vicious cycle if we do not make a change now. Do you see why I chose this topic? If you didn't see why I chose this topic before, do you see now? This is an enormous issue and cannot be solved overnight or by one person. Countries need to work together, but small communities can work together too. First, we need to work together on ending poverty. Educate ourselves and others into making this issue of poverty known. Demonstrations happen all over the world. If you cannot get in a demonstration to make this issue known, then get involved in local groups. Donating time and money goes a long way. Second, we need to have less food waste. If we stop wasting food, we will be able to feed 2 billion hungry people. There are many ways to help prevent food waste. One way is to donate food to local food banks or shelters. You can also do food drives where you could donate food to those in need. If you don't have the money to be giving to others, you could donate your time and work in food banks. Finally, local schools could create local school gardens and sell, or maybe even donate their product to families who need nutritious food. We need to work together to solve this problem of hunger. I challenge you to be more wise about the food you waste, and next time you're at the store, to buy 1 can of food and donate it. Even 1 can of food can help solve this problem of hunger around the world. Thank you.
Right. You ready? Speaker number 8.
I have a question. Do I introduce myself?
You can if you'd like. It's up to you.
Okay. What is the most tragic thing you can think of? This thing is probably a joke topic. Every day, around the world, people make dark jokes. But why do we find the sufferings of others so funny and irrelevant? Why do we respond to others' needs by mocking and ignoring them? The world needs to stop making fun of its tragedies. My 3 reasons being, number 1, it degrades the dignities of victims. Number 2, tragedy can happen to anyone. And number 3, it causes the problem to persist. My first reason is, making fun of tragedy degrades the dignities of victims. One reason that people make dark jokes today is for popularity. According to Astroworld and Memifying Tragedy, audience members recounted the harrowing experience of being pushed and pulled at a concert venue packed beyond its limits. A video of 10-year-old Ezra Brunt's funeral had triggering comments, all vying for likes. What this means is that people worldwide responded to a tragedy by mocking the victims. The biggest problem here was not the tragedy itself, but our reactions. The victims should have been shown the ideal support, but instead their dignities were torn and trampled on, even after this had happened to them physically. Why do we live in a world where we're constantly mocking each other so that we can be popular? Why can't we live in a world where we just show love to each other? This is what the victims deserve, love. But instead, their tragedy was made into a meme, and them topics of a meme. Not human. And why do we do this? Because it wasn't us.
My second reason is that tragedy can happen to anyone. Another joke that people make today, particularly adolescents, is about gun violence. But the not so hilarious truth is, many people are affected by it each day. According to Team Enough gun violence statistics, 336 people are shot in America each day. What this means is that many people are killed or wounded by something that's considered funny, something funny that children have died to and have even killed with. Shouldn't we be bothered? Shouldn't we want to do something? No, because it wasn't us, and that gives it a right to be funny. Who said it couldn't be us? Weren't the vast majority of the victims not expecting to die the next day? Why does it have to be us for it to matter? Either way, tragedy can happen anytime, anywhere, and to anyone, even to you. My third and final reason is that making fun of tragedy causes the problem to persist. Another joke that people, again, particularly adolescents, make today is about racism. But why do we have to be separated by color? Whatever color you are, it doesn't matter. We're all humans. Racism is just a laziness to love, and joking about it, a laziness to respect. And joking about it can also inspire someone with that long-standing hate to hurt somebody. According to a study on racist jokes, prejudiced people normally conceal their beliefs. They only express their prejudice when the norms in a given context clearly communicate approval to do so. This Parliament humor does just that. What this means is that joking about racism can communicate to a real racist that their hatred is not only okay and accepted, but it's also encouraged. And after that, who knows what they'll do? Hate goes a long way. Even if there were no racists, the problem would still persist because it would live on through the joke, as well as the mentality that it is okay. Join me in believing that in order for love to spread and hate to stop, the world needs to stop making fun of its problems. Steps we can take are being kind to each other, respecting each other, not unnecessarily making fun of each other, supporting victims of any problem, and standing up to hatred and evils of all kind, and showing love with not just our words, but with our lives. If the world stopped making fun of its tragedies, we would not only grow in love and empathy, but we would become more aware of our problems. But if the world continues, we're growing hatred and apathy, creating a world not worth living in. Thank you.
Speaker number 9.
In today's society, there are many things needed to make the world a better place. But the one thing the world needs most is empathy. Hi, my name is Ariane Anderson, and today I will be discussing how empathy can answer our world's most complicated problems. If all of us show a little bit more empathy, we can fix major problems such as homelessness, racism, and poverty. Empathy is not just seeing how someone feels. It's about understanding them and doing charitable deeds to make them feel positive. How many of you men and women have driven by and helped out homeless people? According to NBC News, 8,427 people are homeless in San Diego County today. If we show empathy for the homeless, it would be way easier for them. One way you can show empathy for the homeless is by giving them financial help when you can. The reason why money is so rare to homeless people is because people think they're going to spend it on drugs or something bad. So take time to empathize with the homeless. Another way you can show empathy is by volunteering at a soup kitchen or a food bank a few days a month. If we have a little bit more empathy for the homeless on the street, we will be able to feel what they're going through. You can't judge a book by its cover, so take time to emphasize with the homework. If you had empathy for others, it wouldn't be hard to give. How many people have experienced racism or witnessed racism? Racism has been around since the 18th centuries when slavery existed, and it is still happening today. If we had more empathy for others, it wouldn't be hard to just base someone off their skin color or appearance. A recent example of racism is when Derek Chauvin racially profiled George Floyd and had his knee on his neck, even when George Floyd said he couldn't breathe. Even when George Floyd wasn't responding, the officer still had his knee on his neck. If Derek Chauvin would have shown more empathy towards George Floyd, would he finally understand how it felt to be racially profiled? It wasn't until Derek Chauvin went to jail for his offense did he finally understand how it felt to have a knee on his neck. Like civil rights leaders such as Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and Cesar Chavez showed empathy against their fight of their civil rights movement. We all acknowledge those people because they helped bring racism down a level. All this racism today is just repeating itself, and we need to make a change. If we have enough empathy and the mindsets of our civil rights leaders, it would be a major change to the world's attitudes and people overall. Poverty is another big thing in states today that lacks empathy. The top 3 states are Mississippi, Louisiana, and New Mexico, that have an average of 16.28% living within the income level. However, poverty is not just limited to the United States. Many countries have high numbers of those living in poverty and need empathy and positivity to lift them up. Let me give you an example. A soccer player called Sadio Mane donated $500,000 to his country, Africa, to help build hospitals, post offices, and businesses. If we have empathy like that, the world would be a better place. All these millionaires out here have all this money, but don't want to share it to their community or country. Is selfish. All these celebrities have all this money, but don't want to donate. Is crazy and needs to change. Once again, I am Ariane Anderson, and I believe that empathy is the number of things we need in society today.
Well done, Mr. Anderson.
Yeah.
Speaker number 10.
The world needs more curiosity. After all, curiosity is what created the modern world. Curiosity created fire, the very first invention. The first person to strike 2 rocks together must have only wanted to know what would happen. Then, curiosity went on to help us create the wheel, the telephone, cars, planes, rocket ships, and curiosity even took us all the way to the moon. Being curious can help us to discover and invent new things. Curiosity is very important, and we can't forget that. But as we grow up, and as we learn more things, we start to lose some of our curiosity. We don't feel like learning something new or trying a new way to do things. It's too hard. It takes time that we could use to do things a way we already know about. But what we already know is only enough for us to do things the way we already are. We won't know if there's a better solution or one we'll like more until we discover it. It's a bit of a problem, really. We can't see what knowledge we're missing until we gain it. Then we can only see that we didn't know it before, and we're still not sure what we're missing now. Being curious is the only way we can solve this problem, as it means that we will learn new things without needing to know that that knowledge will benefit us. If you weren't curious when you were a child, you wouldn't really know much now. So then why stop there? Why not keep asking questions and being curious? For many people, it's because when they were children, their parents and teachers suppressed their curiosity. After all, no one knows everything. Some people don't like questions that they can't answer. So then, a lot of children get told that they don't need to know everything. They're asking too many questions. It's annoying everyone. Then, the children feel bad for being curious, so they stop asking questions, they stop trying to learn, and they assume they must know everything important already. Otherwise, their parents would just answer their questions. That's why curiosity, especially in children, should be encouraged, not stifled. Another reason that we're not curious enough is that curiosity can often be seen as a childish or foolish trait. It's assumed that someone who has a lot of knowledge wouldn't need to be curious to learn more. But in reality, people who have more knowledge are more likely to be curious and try to learn new things. It might be because when you know more, you can remember a time when you didn't have that knowledge, so then you can assume you must still be like that now and be missing a lot. For example, Socrates. Socrates was one of the great ancient Greek philosophers. He is highly revered and praised because he changed philosophy forever. Socrates once said that wisdom begins in wonder. We cannot learn anything until we have allowed ourselves to become enraptured in wonder and delight at the world, and then wondered how those things we have delighted in work and how they were created. In ancient Greece, philosophers would often walk through the town or teach in schools to declare new ideas that they had. Socrates didn't do that. Instead, he insisted he knew absolutely nothing. And he didn't teach, but asked every question he could think of. Although he was curious, he was not foolish or childish. He changed philosophy forever, and yet he didn't write any books or texts with his knowledge. Everything we know about him comes only from people who knew him and did write. Even though curiosity is something that we often forget about or don't want to show, it's very important so that we can learn new things. Without curiosity, we would still live in caves and freeze during the winter without fire to keep us warm. We definitely wouldn't have rockets or robots or airplanes or telephones or anything like that. Curiosity created our world, and we need to use it to further shape the world and keep ourselves constantly learning. Thank you.
Speaker number 11.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. Would you want to live in a world where people respect each other, themselves, and the environment? Or would you want to live in a world where people don't respect anything at all? My name is Lorenzo Galvez. Today, I'm going to talk about why it is important to respect the environment, each other, and ourselves. Respecting the environment is caring for the environment. This can be done by making a conscious effort to protect your surroundings. Acts of respect for the environment can be as simple as throwing away your trash after lunch, using eco-safe cleaners around the house,
using recyclable materials, recycling, and turning off the lights when you leave a room. Man, I can't tell you how mad my dad gets when I leave the lights on in a room. We need to respect our environment because it is fragile. As mankind evolves, we have shown a lack of respect towards our environment. This has led to climate change, inconsistent weather patterns, such as severe droughts, hurricanes, or more unexpected, dangerous natural disasters. But we can make a difference. By simply choosing to do something positive for the environment, we can show our respect towards the environment. Equally as important as respect for the environment is respect for each other. Respecting others is caring for others, looking out for others, and accepting people for who they are. Unfortunately, respecting others is something that many people do not do. Lack of respect is driven by focusing on each other's differences, such as where we come from, what we look like, or how we choose to live our life. These are all differences that should be celebrated, but too often, they're not. People should understand that respect can build trust and a sense of safety. Respect can settle so many problems in our world, such as apartheid, wars, and other human rights issues. Respect for each other can create good relationships and a peaceful world. Above all, respect must start with oneself. Self-respect means having confidence and feeling good about yourself and the decisions you make. It means establishing different boundaries with different people. Self-respect can help us recover quickly from tricky situations and get us through tough times. Some examples of self-respect are staying healthy, maintaining good habits, and having fun. When people struggle to maintain their physical and mental health, they develop mental health issues and other unhelpful habits. We need self-respect because it helps us make good decisions and it drives who we are. The poet Maya Angelou once wrote, "If we lose love and self-respect for each other, this is how we finally die." In other words, without respect, our community, our country, our very world will not function. Now, I have to be honest. There have been times in my life where I have not shown respect for others, myself, or the environment. I do not claim to be perfect, but I have learned from these experiences. I have learned that respect can impact others around me, my relationships, and the environment. So if you ask me what the world needs, I'd say right now the world needs respect, and we would all be better off. Thank you, and have a great day.
Speaker number 12.
Have you ever wondered what it feels like to live in poverty? Well, I had, and it is really unfortunate for those who have to struggle through it. People in this country should not be living in these type of conditions that can be changed by us. This is not fair, is it? What is being done to prevent it? And what can we do about this? This pressing issue is essential to take on since poverty cannot be prevented if money, food, and a shelter are not provided. Adults and even children suffer from these insane conditions that poverty brings them. They spend day and night working in multiple jobs to earn enough money to survive in this harsh economy. Let me give you a quick example. As you're walking down the street, you spot a person holding a sign that says, "Please help me, anything counts." You look at their clothes and see that they're wearing an all-rack shirt with ripped dirty pants. You check your pockets to see if you have any change. You take out $1.25. As you're thinking which you'll give to him or her, You hear a tiny voice break into your head and say, why not both? You make a decision, and as a result, you give them both. You did not realize you should help the person since you were worried about your money, but maybe that person hasn't eaten in days, or even worse, a family that hasn't been fed. Now tell me, is it really difficult for us to do the same? We are the reason why there's a lot of starving people on streets. We need to act to make a change in poverty. Ever since 1990, poverty has decreased, but at such a slow pace. Children and teenagers do not attend school in some parts of the world. Around 244 million children and teenagers live without education. One reason why they do not attend school is because they must have to work money for their families. Since the minimum salary is $15.50, families are not able to cover basic family needs. For example, in Pakistan, around 22.8% of their population do not attend school. This lowers their opportunities of getting a professional job in the future in order to have a sustainable life. Making education more accessible in the most conceivable way, like providing free education, will help diminish poverty. You might be wondering what other contributing factor creates poverty. In this case, healthcare is a major cause of poverty. Some people do not have enough money to cover their medical expenses. It affects everyone regardless of age or gender. Dr. Robert Schimmerling, a Harvard Health publisher, states that the high prices for medical treatments affects the patient's health. Most health insurers do not cover expensive medical treatments. Furthermore, the University of Minnesota states that those individuals that are denied in their healthcare insurance, programs such as Medicare, Medicaid, Affordable Care Act subsidies, and Cover California will benefit the most from universal healthcare. Yet still using these programs help those in need and reduces the amount of poverty in the world by 3.7%. But don't you think that that tiny percentage could change if the government transferred even a fraction of federal budget towards our free healthcare? Just like almost every advanced country does. This country may be one of the richest in the world, but not the most powerful when it comes to providing for their most vulnerable citizens. Once, my school created a competition called Penny Wars. It was a competition where students, including me, had to fill in their classroom buckets with coins or dollars. In order to win, you had to have the most points. When the competition ended, my class unfortunately lost. But that wasn't what mattered. What mattered was that the money that was raised was then donated to the Ready Children's Hospital. It didn't affect us in a negative way, did it? Can you imagine how many patients we helped raising that money? Soon, if we're all willing to pitch in, there will be less people on streets and life expectancy will rise. But if only there was less expensive resources for those who need it the most. What is going on with the grocery stores? Ever since inflation rose in mid-2021, prices have been increasing. Essential materials such as food and gasoline have been increasing in price the most. Can you imagine those that are being paid the minimum salary of $15.50 per hour? How will they manage to pay off their debts and yet still have to buy their own groceries if they don't have enough money? But not only consumers are affected by this, companies too. Since the products are not selling, the amount of money they normally earn is being reduced. This forces employers to lay off their employees since they won't be able to pay them the usual amount of money they once earned. Once unemployed, it will be exceedingly difficult to find a proper job. This leads to many families being out of work and struggling to put food on the table. Two things that are needed to ease the amount of poverty around the world are salary increases and consumer price increase. There's also programs that help families that are struggling because of their financial predicament called CalFISH, SNAP, WIC, and many more programs that help families in need. But of course, more has to be done. As discussed, poverty brings us a multitude of problems, but there can always be a solution as long as we're willing to work for it. If you help your family, then why not other people? I know that right now you're thinking to yourself, what will I be getting for dinner? But you never ask yourself, do those in need even get food for dinner? I know that right now most people will not take me seriously, since I'm just an ordinary elementary student. But at least I'm speaking out about this ongoing problem, something that many people wouldn't do since they're too shy or scared. But being scared does not matter. Many people are dying and suffering daily because of poverty. As Nelson Mandela said, overcoming poverty is not a gesture of charity. It is an act of justice. It is the right of a fundamental human life, the right to dignity and a decent life. This country has the money to repair this travesty. I hope that in the future, many people will open their eyes and realize what is happening in this harsh society, since this devastating issue is something worth discussing about. Thank you.
All right, wow. Let's let our other students come back in for just a minute. For just a minute, we'll let all of our sixth graders come back that stepped out for just a moment. And I'd like to just take this opportunity to make sure that Sixth graders, please stand and turn and face the audience. Good job. We are so pleased. And now you get to go have a snack, a little treat. So go step on out, sixth graders, and we're going to take just a moment to reshuffle and get ready for our 5 middle school speakers. Go enjoy, sixth graders.
Put something over it. There you go.
So let's go ahead and get settled. We're going to bring in our middle school students in just a moment.
Let's hear it for Rochelle. Yeah. Okay, so not our strong suit over here. Sorry, not a strong suit. Settling down. Hard. Struggles.
Okay, if we can settle in, we're going to go ahead and start with our middle school speakers now. We have 5 middle school speakers. So go ahead, if you want to stay in for our middle school round, 5 speakers, and they'll leave. The judges are going to get working, and then we'll all come back to announce who the finalists are.
Now they are. Right. Is it 140?
Would have been by 2
Yeah.
So beginning with our middle school speak off. Here we go. We have speaker number 13.
When it comes to global activity, there is no such thing as a saving divinity. We all know the tale and we know what's to come. But in the face of peril, there is no one who helps overcome. Pain to say that I must plead. But this is what the world needs. We all bear a cross, something to bring us down. It's a disadvantage, the loneliness to the crown. And when it comes to crosses to bear, none more common than sadness and despair. Trapped in my head, I wish to be heard. But I know deep down, I simply wish I was never given birth. Thoughts near or similar to this one, in this day and age, are something to be ashamed of. And when I try to come out of my shell, the most common response is the word emo. It's depressing to me, because as it seems, this is something that the world needs. Everyone knows depression is bad, but no one thinks more than depression is just being sad. Look at the numbers and look at the graphs. Depression is so much more than just being sad. We long to be heard, not to be ignored. And in response, not a single word. This reality leaves youth and adults crying. Meanwhile, global suicide rates keep climbing. I don't want to be left hanging, but with all the pain that we all keep bearing, I speak on behalf of those like me, that this is something that the world needs. To be accepted and to be heard and to be told more than you have so much to live for. Because in the end, when we die young, the only pain we know is the pain of longing for resolution. And every day, the pain refuses to go away. And what we are left to, in our dismay, is the reality not yet heard, that we will be eternally hurt. To get professional help, to go to therapy at 3 maybe, I think it is something we can all agree. It is something that the world needs. To be public and to be seen, not shallow and deceived. for knowledge to be common and correct, and for it to correctly represent, for stereotypes to melt away and not to be believed day to day, for this form of change to be achieved. It is something that the world needs. For those suffering, chin up, because as cliche as it is to say, there's always tomorrow, a new day. And of course, I'm nowhere near recovering. That is why I'm here. But just know that there is hope, that there are better ways to cope. But I won't preach like a pope, because availability still stands a solid nope. But for it to be achieved, for mental health availability, I think it is something we all know to be. It is something that the world needs. In front of the crowd in front of me today, let it be something that I will display. In this world of people like me, all longing for a place to be, I get on my knees and I plead to thee. Do you understand? It's something the world does not need. Thank you.
Okay,
yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Speaker number 14.
Have you ever wondered what the world needs? Well, I have. And I can think of a lot of things. For example, gun control, less polluted air, oh, and clean water. I believe that all those are great examples of what our world needs. However, those things cannot happen unless there are people who are planning to leave a positive legacy that can influence many future generations. The Oxford English Dictionary defines legacy as money or property that is given to you when somebody dies. Most people consider a legacy to just be money or property when their parents or even their grandparents die, but that's what people believe, right? But what I believe, the most treasured forms of legacy are found in intangible gifts. Okay, back to the point. Why does the world need intangible forms of legacy, you may be asking? The world right now needs people who are true to themselves. William Shakespeare once said, "There is no legacy so rich as honesty." The purpose of an intangible legacy is not to make people look good. On the other hand, your uniqueness is your best legacy. Don't become someone you are not just to please the rest of the world. People should identify what matters to them and how their uniqueness will contribute to leaving a positive legacy that can influence many future generations. There are many people who have left a positive legacy to the world. Raise your hand if you ever heard of these people. Gandhi? How about Mandela? This is an easy one. How about Steve Jobs? Yeah, he's the guy who made my phone. Today, I will not be talking about those three people because I want to talk about a woman who, despite her disadvantages, has been able and will continue to influence many future generations.
In 1967, Katrine Switzer became the first woman to run the Boston Marathon. Back then, women were not allowed to run marathons. During her run, she was assaulted by a man who realized she was a woman. And that man, he was in charge of the Boston Marathon. During her run, she was assaulted by a man who realized she was a woman. Because that man, that was like so bad at what he did. Because that's literally so bad. Like, do you guys agree?
Yes.
I know, right? Anyway. Hold on. This is really important. I'm sorry. I have to make sure you guys get this correct. Okay. Fellow runners and her husband protected her. Because, of course, why wouldn't they protect her? So Katrine was able to complete that race. And Katrine was determined to finish that race and show the world that women are capable of achieving goals that up to that point, only the world believed men could achieve. She broke the gender barrier. And because of her beliefs and her uniqueness, she was able to change the world. Her activism changed people's minds and created space. So that in 1972, it became the first year where women were allowed to run marathons. Yeah! In one of Katrine's interviews, she said, "All you need is the courage to believe in yourself and put one foot in front of the other." As a woman athlete, I started a brainstorm of what kind of legacy I want to leave to my descendants. Today, I want to tickle your mind and make you start thinking about your own intangible legacy. But remember, it will not be as easy as it sounds. There will be many obstacles. The way to succeed is to get back up when they knock you down. Dust off your doubts, dust off your insecurities. Focus on your goals and continue your race, just like Katrine did. Consider yourselves tickled.
Speaker number 15.
Did you understand that message? How did you feel? Frustrated? Confused? Well, how you just felt is how deaf people feel every single day of their lives. More specifically, those are the things I've seen my mom try to hide when she tries to communicate with people that do not know how to sign or cannot understand ASL. According to the CDC, up to 1 in 4 adults in the United States have some form of disability. Millions of these people face frustration, confusion, but then adding the feeling of depression and hopelessness because they feel left out of the world. They also struggle they get excluded, they get ignored, they just get put into the side. Hi, my name is Angel Lopez, and I'm an 8th grader at Mila Charter School. I'm here not just to give a speech. I'm here to bring awareness and educate you on the struggles that my mom and other people with physical and mental disabilities encounter with every day, and how they are suffering and what you can do to help. These topics are typically ignored, excluded, or just simply forgotten. No one speaks about them, and trust me, the feeling of not being heard, seen, does not sit right with anyone. According to signhealth.org, 900 deaf people commit suicide every year, like other people with physical disabilities. They are mocked, bullied, harassed, and even humiliated just because of the way they are. People with disabilities have the same ability as anyone else here. And these challenges doesn't just affect adults, they affect children as well. According to the National Bullying Prevention Center, children with disabilities are 2 to 3 times more likely to be bullied than a kid without a physical disability. As they grow up, they continue to face these challenges, and this bullying does not go away. So not only do they have to struggle with the bullying from their physical disabilities, they also have to struggle with the mental issues that are coming and result from this bullying. Some people assume that all disabilities are visible. That is not the case. According to Hopkins Medicine, many people suffer from more than one mental disorder at a given time. These disorders can happen at birth, or they can just develop over time because of bullying, trauma, or any other stressful situation. Mental Health America explains the outward signs of mental illness are often behaviors. A person may be extremely quiet, withdrawn, and display antisocial behavior, or they may burst down into tears and have outbursts of anger. According to the National Bullying Prevention Center, children and teens who suffer from mental disabilities will avoid school at all costs. They will lose interest in their academics and will have a big increased possibility of dropping out just because they are misunderstood. Remember my mom? She has battled a physical disability her entire life. She is deaf. She deals with the lack of communication, constant misunderstanding, relentless but quiet judgment, and even struggles to find a suitable workplace where she can support her family. From the moment she wakes up until the moment she falls asleep, she and most people with disabilities will face these challenges that you will never experience. Everyone deserves to be treated with respect and equality. Do not see them as any different from you or me. Before you assume something about someone, take a second and think whether something is making them react or act in a certain way. They just might have a different way of communicating. A small change in your perspective can do a lot more than you will ever know. This is why I'm coming to you today. I'm not asking you to change the world. I'm asking you to make a simple change in yourself. Change the way you see disabilities. Dig deep to create a better understanding. Have empathy. Think about what is it like to live with a disability. Even learning simple phrases like, hello, how are you? Have a good day. And ASL are easy ways to make someone who is hearing impaired or deaf feel comfortable in this world. It's that simple. I hope this speech gave you an opportunity to understand what it feels like to have a disability. Even if it was just for a few minutes, I hope that you will come and join me to make people with disabilities feel safe in this world. My mom taught me that even if people bully you or exclude you from their lives, it just makes you want to love yourself even more. She inspires me with her positive attitude despite all her struggles, and I hope she inspires you today. I love you, Mom, and I'm very proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, sis.
Still talking?
Yeah.
You cry?
Good.
Thank you.
Much harder.
Speaker number 16.
The other day, when my mom got home, the first thing she did was get mad at me for leaving my stuff all over the house. At first, I got defensive. But Mom, I just got home from school. I'm feeling extremely tired. I had achieved, I ready, and homework on top of that. Give me a break. But then, I saw the look on my mom's face. Something happened to me. She looked like she needed a break. And she still had to cook dinner, make sure I get my homework done, and finish preparing for my brother and his family to move in with us. She has a lot on her plate. When I took a second to understand my mom's perspective and see how she felt, I experienced empathy. Right now, we are in dark times. We need to understand the feelings of others. Since March 2020, we've been through a pandemic that seems to never go away. Hunger is on the rise all over the world. We have two countries at war where many people have been killed. Just recently, an earthquake occurred in both Turkey and Syria. These current events have caused many people to feel sad, stressed, anxious, and even depressed. Unless we have been in a war or suffered from extreme hunger, we don't know what they are going through. We might see these things on the news, but do we really know what these victims are feeling? Good afternoon. My name is Elijah Salcido, and I am a 7th grader from Miller Charter School. What does this world need? This world needs empathy. Empathy means to put yourself in someone else's shoes, seeing the world through their eyes. When you show empathy, it enhances your own mental health as well as help those around you. Many people debate whether empathy is a weakness or a strength. It is a strength and a very important skill. Human beings are social creatures by nature. However, empathy doesn't come to us naturally, and it is beneficial to our personal health. It allows us to handle those difficult people in our lives gracefully, which reduces stress. Empathy can be an organizational superpower. It is linked with effective collaboration, which increases confidence. It also allows for more inclusivity and understanding with your attitude at home, school, or at work. Empathy teaches you to increase your attentiveness and teaches you how to be patient. Psych Center states that without empathy, it may lead to friction in relationships and poor communication. This can lead to feelings of loneliness, which can cause depression. Empathy helps you learn how to regulate your own emotions as well as help those around you. We develop a greater understanding of others' feelings by relating them to our own, as well as giving them the opportunity to feel the feeling of receiving empathy while learning how to give it to someone else and pay it forward. According to verywellmind.com, if we do not show empathy, it may lead to friction in relationships, and they may lack helping behaviors for others, poor communication, and they may start to view others in a negative way. So make sure to show empathy by listening actively, withholding judgment, offering physical affection, focusing your attention outwards, and lastly, offering help. Empathy is a skill that can be cultivated and developed. Having number 5 from Leader in Me is a great example. Seek first to understand and then to be understood. Don't jump to conclusions. Ask questions to help with your understanding and to see their point of view. Also, ask questions to help with your understanding and offer support. What made you feel like this? Have you thought about asking someone to get help? We need empathy to understand the feelings of others. It is a powerful skill, and it strengthens bonds of trust. The power of empathy is at the core of emotional intelligence, EQ, and relationship mastery. It faithfully delivers the ability to connect with the people we love and care about. So,
If we want to become better people and great leaders, let's start practicing empathy now, because that is what the world needs. Thank you.
Yes. Our last middle school speaker today, speaker number 17.
We change the world by not what we say or do, but as a consequence of what we become. This was once said by David R. Hawkins. To put this into perspective, every action, no matter how small, has some kind of impact on the world. We all have the ability to significantly influence society. We all have the ability to change the world. My name is Sofia Magana, and today I'm going to speak to you about what I believe the world needs. A little more understanding, unity, kindness, and forgiveness. To start, we need to be more understanding of one another. We all have different life situations, and we're all different people who respond to those situations in different ways. However, it's these differences and different situations that help us become better and contribute to society. Whether it's our appearance, interests, race, religious beliefs, sexual orientation, social and financial status, and other diversifying factors. We need to see past these differences in order to see each other for what we can contribute to society. For a while, I had the false idea that being different was bad because there were certain expectations for everyone to be the same, what we think of as the norm. However, I grew to understand that it's these differences that bring us together and help us contribute to society. And ultimately, it's these differences that bring us together. Speaking of bringing us together, this brings me to my next point about unity. We're already powerful individually, but imagine if we all came together, worked together towards a common goal. We could probably tackle political, economic, and social problems globally. However, in order to come together, we need to not only appreciate our differences, but also forgive past mistakes. What I've learned is that no matter how smart, talented, or perfect someone may seem, everyone has made some mistake in their life. It's completely normal. Forgiving one another for these mistakes isn't easy, as I mentioned earlier, but trust me, I know. I've made mistakes as well. I consider myself to be a kind person, but a few years back, a student was bullying me at school. Instead of responding with kindness, I also responded back with harsh words. As soon as I said those words, I immediately regretted it. But in the end, it's not. Responding to negativity with more negativity will never produce peace. Lastly, I want to talk about kindness. I've seen a lot of people my age who are friends who hit each other and make mean comments towards each other. They're quick to say they're just joking around, but the fact that they think this type of interaction is a joke is both a sad and compelling reason for change to be necessary. The reason this happens is because it's become so normalized nowadays. One way to overcome this, however, is for people to surround themselves with more positivity. Maybe one reason why people struggle to be kind to one another is because when someone isn't being nice to them, they feel obligated to respond in the same way. Just like the saying, what goes around comes around. But in the end, responding to hatred with more hatred will never produce peace. This is why people need to start being nicer to one another and why we need more positivity in the world. To conclude, we need more understanding, unity, forgiveness, and kindness to create a better world. We all have the ability to bring about change in society, and I hope I've helped you realize that. Thank you.
Wow. How incredible were you five? My goodness, let's give them another big round. So we are so proud of you and so excited for you. And we know that there are a lot of people out here who came to support you and cheer you on. So if there's somebody here today that you would like to acknowledge and introduce or thank, we're going to give you that opportunity. So we'd like to start here. Would you like to? All right, stand on up and tell the crowd who's here for you, cheering you on.
My family over here and my teachers in the back.
Which school you're from?
I'm from Discovery Charter School.
So I'm here with my mom and my dad, and I would want to thank this person, and his name is Dr. Max Branska. Without him, I would be afraid to be in front of all of you guys.
I want to thank my family and my principals, the staff members, everyone that came to watch me today. And one person is I'm really happy that Miss Mir and my best friend that helped me through my speech and gave me the confidence to come here and speak about what this world really needs.
I would really like to acknowledge my mom that is here with me, and as well as my principal, Miss Mir, everybody that came here. I am very thankful for them to come in here, principal and everybody. I'd really like to thank my English teacher and my math teacher for coming to watch me, and my principal and the innovation specialist who helps us with our technology at school, because they've all been really supportive throughout it. And then I'd also like to thank the people who I've been competing with, because they all seem like really nice people, and I wish you guys good luck.
I'm not supposed to make you cry. I'm supposed to be able to say that you're all sobbing. So thank you, all of you. You were fabulous. What we're going to do now is we're going to now that you've had all of the fun, right? Remember I said the hardest job is for our judges. So we're going to excuse our judges to take their laptops and their notes back to the room so that they can get busy on this work. And then we're going to let you go on back to the break room and have a little snack. And then we'll call everybody back in just a minute, okay? Thank you.
You know what? Give me these flowers.
Welcome back, students.
Thank you, baby.
Well, welcome back. What we're going to do right now, we gave our middle school students an opportunity to thank and introduce any of their special friends, family, school staff that have come to support you, because we know that all of this wonderful hard work that you did here was cheered on and supported and helped by the people out in the audience. So we're going to start, so we're just going with our sixth graders, since middle school already did it. So speaker number 1 for sixth grade, would you like to come up and introduce anybody that came here to support you today?
So I would really like to thank my parents who are here in the audience because they felt through with this, and yesterday they helped me practice a lot. And I also want to thank my teacher. She isn't here, but still she supported me a lot through doing this, and also my friends in my school And you also supported me a lot through this, and I think that's all.
Fantastic. Everybody, what school you're from?
Oh, I'm from Rice Elementary.
Fantastic. 2.
And my mom came, my grandpa came, my brother and my little sister, and also 2 of my teachers came, Miss Lou and Miss Gallen came to support me here. And like my dad, who had work today, could not come attend, he helped me a lot too. My friends at also school also supported me and helped me practice while I was at school too. I'd like to thank all of them for helping me through all of this.
I would like to thank my parents, my sister, and my cousin for coming. And I know my teacher isn't here, but I'd also like to thank him for helping me.
Which school are you from?
From Finney Elementary.
Number 4.
For coming here. Helped me a lot with my speech, and I also want to thank my teacher, even though she's a parent, because she supported me through all this.
I would like to thank my whole 6th grade community back at my school for supporting me the whole time. My parents, my sister, and my family, and my new 6th grade community I didn't know I had.
CBLCC. Number 6. Speaker number 6.
I would like to thank my mom that came here for supporting me, and I would like to thank my teacher because before I came here, he was like, "You're gonna do great, everything's fine," and my friends because they also supported me through the way, and I'm from Waterbuck Elementary.
Yeah.
7. I would like to thank my parents and my family, my dog, for supporting me. And I would like to thank the principals. I would like to thank Miss Muir. I would like to thank everyone in the school for supporting me and for just like helping me out through the school year. I've been in rough times. They helped me, and I just want to congratulate everyone and Miss Casal too. Thank you. These are charter schools.
Okay, number am I on? You can help me.
8.
Number 8. Okay, speaker number 8.
Hi, I would like to thank my parents and my teacher and my classmates. And my school is Harborside.
Yes. Speaker number 5.
Wait.
I like to thank my mom. Before I came here, she made me study my speech. At least 30 minutes a day. She took my phone away. It all helped but it all helped in the end. Thank you, Mom. And I'm from Old Elementary.
Speaker slide number 11, 10. 9, 11, 10. Okay, 10.
I'd like to thank my mom and my little brother, who's only 3, for being here today, even though it was difficult because my brother is 3. I'd like to thank also my dad and my mom for helping me study my speech, and everyone at my school because they all wish me good luck. I'm from Pastor Chuck Elementary.
I'd like to say thank you to my dad and my mom. Mainly my dad because he helped me a lot. My mom helped me with a lot of the poise, so that was a big part of it. There's everyone in my school that encouraged me.
Yes, Kirk Elementary, all right. Number 12.
Hello, my name is Hillary, and I am thankful for my mom, my sister, my little brother for always being there for me, and my teacher who gave me advice in my speech and supported me all the way through. Thank you. I'm from Montgomery Elementary.
Wow, again, fantastic. So now we're at that time in our afternoon that you've all been waiting for. So everybody take a deep breath. And I would like our 6th graders to stand up one last time and turn around and face the audience. So the audience just clapped for an amazing, just an incredible bunch of 6th grade speakers. So you were all winners. You made it here to our semifinals, and as far as I'm concerned, you are all winners. And I know everybody out there agrees. So whoever I call here, I want us to be excited for them, but also to feel everybody should walk out of here feeling proud, okay? All right, so before we start, I want you to take just a minute to congratulate the people next to you because all of you did such a great job. All right, so in no particular order, I'm going to be calling up our 3 finalists who will return on Monday morning for our 6th grade finals. Okay, here we go. Our first finalist is number 10, Eleanor from Castle Park. All right, our next 6th grade finalist coming to the finals on Monday is number 5, Santiago. And our 3rd finalist going to the finals on Monday morning is number 11, Lorenzo from
Is that what
Now, Mr. Chavez, then take your pictures.
Again, 3, 1, 3, one more, 1.
Sixth grade speakers to join our 3 finalists and have them scoot over this way, so we might need to get in 2 rows so that we can get in front of the screen. Does anybody feel comfortable maybe kneeling in front? A couple. Oh, there we go. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Count of 3, 1, 2, 3. One more time, big smiles. Perfect.
Congratulations, sixth grade speakers, you were all fantastic. So now, we have our middle school speakers. And so we are going to send 3 finalists to Monday morning's finals as well from the middle school. So our first finalist is number 13, Jesus from Vista. Our second middle school finalist is number 15, Angel from. And our third middle school finalist is number 16, Elijah from.
Is this funny? Two photos. 1, 2. Okay. Smile. 1, 2.
We'd like the rest of our middle school finalists to come on up.
A little bit this. One, two, and one more. 1, 2, and 3.
What an afternoon. I told you it was going to be an exciting afternoon. Again, you all did a fantastic job. We are so proud of all of you. Thank you to all of you who came to support family, friends, schools. Thank you for all of your support of these wonderful children and you students. You're phenomenal. So thank you for coming. We look forward to seeing our finalists on Monday morning. You'll get more specific information from Ms. Castro. Thank you again for being a part of our speech contest this year. Have a great rest of your day.